a distraction from this.
Wait, it's not about their nukes?
No. Iran's central bank counts because their oil and energy is very important, including for China. If you're going to come out with programmable money,
with a revolutionary new payment system,
with digital IDs that are interoperable globally, that controls in each jurisdiction centrally, you can't afford leakage. Iran right now is the big leakage in the system. Now, Larry Fink and BlackRock have said
we need to move very rapidly.
They're planning on trading all stocks and bonds using tokens.
All investments on a tokenized platform.
What it means is this is going to be,
we have one common blockchain.
You know, potentially $100, $200, $300 trillion market. $100, $200, $300 trillion market.
The wars, the Epstein files, the aliens, AI, it's all to keep you from the truth. The power brokers are trying to preserve US dollar dominance at any costs. All the value is converging into precious metals and soon the digital rails. Put your faith in God and He'll handle the rest.
Shalom. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, salutation, and blessings to the elect who firmly believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. We told you, man. We told you. Begin with our apostles first and foremost. This is the beginning of World War III. And as the prophecy states, and I did a lesson on it last week, right before everything happened, right on time, as far as how the least of the flock shall draw them out, and that's Israel leading America by attacking Iran into the Third World War. One thing about war, it can start off with 2 countries, and then tomorrow it'll end up with 13 countries. And after 13 countries, it could turn into 30 countries. That's how war spreads, right? Because certain locations starts to get attacked, then other countries become vulnerable. It's a domino effect. It's a domino effect. And one thing about this guy Trump, he was pretty much playing chess when he attacked Venezuela. When he attacked Venezuela, because first and foremost, Venezuela holds the largest proven oil reserves, more than 5 times the United States. However, back in 2023, the U.S. exported about 125 billion of the crude, far more than any sanction hit Venezuela. And I believe when you check out the list of countries that has crude oil reserves, at the top is Venezuela, followed by Saudi Arabia, followed by Iran. And one thing about Iran, now Venezuela, we already have Saudi Arabia in the back pocket, but the third most preserves is Iran. One thing about Iran, and Trump pretty much, went into Venezuela to take that oil, just in case this, because he knew they had to go in Iran and attack it. He knew that was a part of the plan, because I believe Iran is the only one of the only countries left of the 7 countries in which the America had to take over to hold the U.S. dollar dominance. And we all know that everything that America wants, the dollar to go digital. America wants the dollar to go digital, and pretty much Iran is the only country with leakage in the CBDC and digital transformacy plan, And one thing about Iran, a lot of the oil flows through the Strait of Hamas. So Trump pretty much took over Venezuela because they knew they were going to attack Iran, and Iran was going to shut down that Strait of Hamas, which pretty much holds all of that oil. So they out here playing chess. And hey man, things are going to get spookier, as the days goes by. Things are going to get a lot more spookier, but we're excited. We excited. You know what I'm saying? So not only oil is necessary, natural gas also is needed. You know what I'm saying? And as well as the electricity. As well as the electricity. So, hey man, we excited. We living in exciting times, man, because we are one step closer, to the kingdom, to the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, let's get right into the scriptures. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And that's what the prophets are doing right now. You know what I'm saying? We see the war that's going on. We see the attacks that's going on. We see everything revolves around this whole digital currency, in which we know to be the mark of the beast, the MOTB, which is them instituting the microchip, right? It says, and Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. That's right. And it's plain as day. It's plain as day of what's happening and what's going on. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is making his presence felt. Of course, the prophesying, the teaching, everything that we're doing is not going on. It's not going in vain. It's not going in vain. We saw the play before the play played out. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And that's right. And that's what's happening. And that's what's happening. It's not going to tarry. I still personally believe, this is my own opinion, that this is just starting things off. This is starting things off. I see all of this coming to a head within the next 3 to 5 years. Of course we wish it was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? However, I see everything coming to a head within 3 to 5 years. But it could be closer than that. You know what I'm saying? Like the scriptures say, salvation is nearer than what we believed. You know what I'm saying? So here it is. I'm thinking 3 to 5. It may be a year, 6 months. You never know, right? So it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. And it's speaking right now. How many years ago did the Lord say that the least of the flock shall draw them out? How many years ago? During the time of Jeremiah. You know what I mean? And at the end it's speaking and not lying at this very moment. So that's why it's important to have the correct understanding of the scriptures, so we can know and understand what timetable we're living in according to prophecy. Because before everything gets nuked, guess what? Martial law has to be here. Famine has to be here on a grand scale. The microchip has to be mandated. Prophets got to get snatched up. Some got to live like a pilgrim. We just have a handful of prophecies that got to come to pass first. When these things come to pass, it's going to be a great day. It's out with the old and with the new. You know what I'm saying? These devils, the Lord is setting a trap, for these devils, and they think they the ones in control of it. They're setting a bear trap in which they forgot about, and they're going to get caught right up in it. That's the beauty of it all. Let me get the book of Joel. And that's another thing too. They were pretty much saying, it's about nuclear weapons, because I believe there was a peace treaty that Iran couldn't use nuclear weapons, and they signed off on it. However, behind the scenes, China was supplying Iran with nuclear capabilities, nuclear weapons. So there's no honor amongst thieves. There's no honor amongst thieves, man. It's going to be a great day. This is the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand. It is. We blowing the trumpet right now. We are blowing the trumpet right now. It's a sound of the alarm. Warning. Get your act together. Get your shit together. Repent or die. Because it's coming. The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. It says a day of dark and gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, they have not been ever the like. Neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. Their land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yet and nothing shall escape them. And that's talking about the nuclear missiles. Because the time is going to come to where this thing goes nuclear. There's going to be a country that set off the nuclear bombs first, and then it's just going to go, then it's just going to be madness and mayhem. I personally believe all of these countries, hot take, I personally believe all of these countries is cool with each other and they know what they're doing. And it's just going to be casualties at war, which is the general population, in which they think they're going to be able to establish a new world order with all of them pretty much, hiding out in bunkers and shit. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord's going to ultimately interrupt their plans. That's just my opinion. Right? The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the top of mountains, shall they leap like the noise. And that's talking about the nuclear capabilities hopping over the defense systems. Hopping over the defense system, because there's going to be a GPS navigation system on these missiles that's going to hit their target and not miss. This is like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face, the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one on his ways. And they shall not break their ranks. That's right. Those missiles are not going to break his rank. They're going to hit their targets. You know what I'm saying? The Lord got 100 million missiles here to decimate America. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. That's right. They're not going to collide. These missiles are not going to collide with one another. They're going to hit his target, man. All of Israel is going to be destroyed, but be rebuilt. 3/5 of Russia is going to be destroyed. All of America is going to be destroyed. It's about to be a party. It's about to be let's boogie. It's about to be a party, man. And when they shall fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run up the wall, which is what the defense systems, because a wall is symbolized as what? Your protection, your defense. But the missiles is going to trump, pun intended, those barriers, the defense systems. They shall climb upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. And the windows is talking about the ozone layers. The missiles is going to shoot out through the ozone layers and come back in and hit its target. The earth shall quake before them. The heaven shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of Yahweh is great and very terrible. And who can abide it? Nobody. So when they try to tell you, thermonuclear missiles is not in the scriptures, it's just that they don't understand the scriptures. They don't understand the scriptures. Amos chapter 5 verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord, Yahweh. To what end is it for you? The day of Yahweh is darkness and not light. That's right. It's going to be complete chaos. It's going to be complete destruction. It's going to be race wars, class wars, a whole lot of B&E going on, breaking and enterings, a lot of ravishing going on. Women are going to be commodities in that day. Look, man, if you are not the elect, if you don't have that mark of Thawah upon you, you ain't got a chance in hell. You ain't got a chance in hell. You should have got right when the Lord told you to get right by way of his prophets. It says, as if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of Yahweh be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? That's the day of the Lord. That's the day of the Lord. That's what's coming to this society. That's what's coming to this society. All praises Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So I came across that video on Twitter. Felt like it resonated with what's going on. Had to put it out there, for the people, for the elect, So with that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, salutation, and blessings to the elect. Shalom.